I'm Dr. Page, the best guy to see in the worst day of your life. Has it ever crossed your mind that sleep was God's idea? You know, evolutionary scientists have no idea why mankind sleeps, especially how much we sleep. You know, unlike most animals, mankind sleeps about 8 hours out of a 24-hour time period, which really doesn't fit. You know, most animals, elephants, zebra, deer, they sleep about 2 to 3 hours per day because they're always on the alert. Now, we Christians know why. We know because God created mankind just to turn off and to trust Him. You know, God never slumbers or sleeps. And so often there's a disconnect in our life. We think that when we shut off the light, that somehow that God just goes to sleep as well. But the scriptures tell us that God is just as active when we sleep as when we're awake. Someone once said that sleep is God's contrivance to do for man what He cannot do for Himself when He is awake. So today, as we begin this study of sleep and rest, I'm going to give you 2 principles that I believe will change your life. And these principles almost sound unspiritual. But I want to introduce you to this attitude of having a wise heart. And I want to start out in Proverbs 3:24. When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet. Now, this sweet, refreshing sleep is something that we all really want. And if you're listening to this video, I'm sure that you are also trying to figure out why you're not sleeping well. First of all, this promise from God is conditional, and it's based upon living a life of wisdom, of having this wise heart. And if you look even in the chapter 3, there are so many principles that we need to adopt to have this byproduct of living a life of wisdom before God. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about sleep medicine. Yes, medicine. I want you to realize that God can heal from a natural means just as well as from a spiritual means. This conditional promise of sweet sleep, this byproduct of living a life of wisdom before God. I'm a surgeon. I'm one of those do as I say, not as I do type doctors. And I did not realize that I even had an underlying sleep disorder. Hey, I even wrote a book about the subject before I ever got treated. And so, you know, so often we need to have someone with an objective point of view take a look at us. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go see your primary doctor and possibly a sleep specialist and have them evaluate you for a sleep disorder. Here's your second action point. I want you to develop good sleep habits. You know, sleep doctors talk about hygiene. You want to set up your time of rest to be the most boring time of the day. Number 1, you want to go to bed at the same time every night. You want to get your body into a rhythm or cadence so that it is ready to sleep when your head hits the pillow. Number 2, you don't want any distractions. That means turn off your screens. No watching TV, no reading the newspaper, anything like that right before you go to bed. Number 3, no lights. You don't want to have any type of lights. We know that light triggers melatonin and all these hormones in your body. So no lights, no TV screens, no distractions. Minimize your caffeine input for 6 hours prior to when you go to bed, and minimize your water intake. That will minimize those trips to the bathroom. And also make your evening meal the lightest. Have a wise heart and set yourself up for a good night's sleep using these 2 principles. You have to start with a good foundation. Number 1, rule out and exclude any sleep disorders. And number 2, establish good sleep hygiene. I'm Dr. Page, the best guy to see on the worst day of your life.